all fiction has to be as honest as you can make it. This I believe. It may not be true for every other writer out there. It may not be true for any other writer there. But it's true for this writer. You have to make it as honest as you can because that's what people respond to. As far as I'm concerned, any success I have achieved as a writer of fiction, I have achieved because I'm an honest writer of fiction, because my people are real people, because you care about them. The hardest time for me was starting out as a very, very young writer. I wrote short story and I sent them out to places that I could conveniently publish them, and they all came back. And I looked at the story. We went out and came back, and went out and came back. And I thought, okay, well, one or two things is true here. Either I'm not good enough, or I don't understand the world. The stuff I don't get, and the stuff I need to know. And I thought, okay, so as of today, I'm now a freelance journalist specializing in the world of publishing and fantasy and science fiction. And I designed a word of journalist that gave me a license to ask questions. It gave me a license to go into that world and meet everybody, find out who everybody is, find out what they do, and find out how they read to learn. And then I got invited to my first writer workshop. It's Word of Mountain Writer Workshop, and I was sitting there with a bunch of fantastic writers like Wicker Jones and Diana Wynne Jones and Mary Gentle. And I realized very, very quickly that my reaction to the story were things like, I like this, I don't like this, oh, this is good. That wasn't their reaction. They were responding to story to a much deeper level than I was reading. Then I realized that I was reading the story as an audience, and they were reading story as crafts people, as people who build these things, as people who do this. And I also realized I was wrong. I was wrong if I wanted to be a writer, and they were right. And that experience, more than anything else, I think changed me. And it changed me mostly because I realized that in order to write fiction, I needed to be honest. Up until that point, I have a facility with voices. I could do essentially impressions of other writers. I could write things that felt kind of like things that other writers would have written and written well, but I didn't have anything to say. And it wasn't because I haven't lived. That was because I wasn't really prepared to say anything true about who I was. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want people reading any of my stories to know who I was, or what I thought, or to get into clues. And I realized that if you're going to write, if you're going to be a successful driver, unless you are going to writing this thing, you had to be willing to be equivalent of walking down the street naked. You have to be able to show much of yourself. You have to be just a little bit more honest than you were comfortable with. And if people judged you, if they feel like they knew who you were, that was just something that you're gonna have to live with. That was a strain, and when I start doing this, and I was expecting to be judged or shunned, or people opinions, or to have to deal with things, I discovered was they were We really like this. We love the story. That's a good story. It feels personal. And I really like that because I was being honest about me. And something, when you get really specific, apply to so many of us. So that's what how I took my darkest period and eventually turn it around